Talk about Far Cry 5, and lead writer Drew Holmes is with us. Drew, how are you? Good to see you, man.
See you.
All right, so you guys stirred the internet up a few weeks ago
Yes.
with Far Cry 5, and Far Cry always somewhat unexpected, but this game, and we saw Danny on stage there, you're very upfront
Yes.
about the state of affairs in the world, how people feel about the world, and sometimes video games can be flippant and fun, but Dan and you, I know, talked a lot about, being in Montana, meeting people there. This game, felt like there was a lot of emotion behind this concept for you guys to build this game. How hard was it internally to sort of pitch this idea of doing this game that is about, sort of people that are very afraid about what's happening in the world?
Yeah, I think that bringing Far Cry to America was something the team was wanting to do for quite some time. And it was more about what's a place that felt Far Cry-ish. I think for us, Far Cry is about a space that feels like a frontier. There's lots of exploration opportunities, things that feel dangerous in terms of not just the people that live there, but the animals.
Yeah.
And when the team went to Montana and started to meet the people and see the landscape, it immediately felt for us that Montana was the best place to bring Far Cry.
Yeah.
And so we created this fictional county of Hope County, Montana, where this militant doomsday cult has taken over the space, led by Joseph Seed. They believe that the world's about to end, and they're preparing for that.
Absolutely. Now we're looking at some of the first gameplay here. You guys put out some
Yeah.
trailers. So yeah, tell us about, Far Cry is known for an open world sort of setup and a lot of different gameplay types. Where does this game start? Where in this world? How does it begin?
It starts with you. For the first time ever, we're allowing you to customize your own character.
And male or female?
Male or female.
Yeah.
So because I think for us it was more about putting you in a situation where you felt uneasy and unsure of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So the character that you're playing is a rookie sheriff's deputy for Hope County, Montana.
Yeah.
And the game starts with your very first day on the job. You're traveling in with a group of other sheriff's deputies to arrest Joseph Seed, the father.
Yeah.
Things quickly spiral out of your control, and you find yourself alone in the middle of the county with no one coming to help you.
And Dan told me about that first scene, which sounds crazy.
Yeah,
You're in
yeah.
that car and the fire. Yeah.
It's,
I don't want to spoil it.
It's
but
intense. I think that Joseph Seed, the actor we've cast, Greg Brick, has done a marvelous job. I think he's bringing something that is very haunting, very spooky, and something I don't think that we've seen in a Far Cry experience before. But yeah, the thing that we're really proud about this time around is sending you in a space that you're going to be able to go anywhere at any point in time right from the start of the game. We're showing off a demo today. Falls End is sort of one of the towns in Hope County. It's a place that you could find early on in the game or maybe later on. We're not sending you on a strict linear path in terms of the missions this time around. You're going through the world and building a resistance against the cult.
Now tell me a bit about, not the flippant fun, but sort of the adventuring of Far Cry and how that squares with, you're talking about cults, you're talking about doomsday preppers. I mean, very heavy subjects.
Sure.
So how do you guys balance that sort of, the authenticity with, as we saw a guy, running a piece of, lawn mowing machinery over someone. It's like, and that's, fun and flippant, but how do you strike that right tone? Because I think it's a very, it's an interesting topic, but it's also very hard to sort of thread that needle.
Sure, but I think that's also the Far Cry secret sauce. We take things so we do a lot of research in terms of the setting and the characters and who is going to feel like they belong in this place, something that's believable,
right,
but maybe not necessarily realistic, because we really want players to engage in the toys that we're giving them and have a lot of fun and carve their own way through the world. I think Far Cry at its best is when you're going, I wonder what happens if I do X, and then the mayhem that ensues. We like to call it the anecdote factory. It's about giving players a lot of different things and just experimenting to see what happens.
I'm sure there will be many different things. We saw obviously some stuff with planes and a lot of different members of Hope County that you're going to interact with. So from a narrative perspective, how much of you're telling the story? I assume kind of all in game.
Yeah. We've it's this time around, it's a very non-linear approach to the way that we're telling the story. Like I said, Falls End is one of the towns that's in the game. We're building communities that, as you progress through the world, you're looking for people to join your resistance and build an army against the cult. You're going to meet people that they're going to send you on little quests to go, okay, you know, someone had their truck stolen, or Nick Rye, who we see in the demo, the cult's trying to steal his plane, and he's just trying to look after his wife and his pregnant wife. It's all these little sort of vignettes, story vignettes, that as you're building this resistance, you're raising your resistance meter. The bad guys are going to then insert themselves into your story. So my path through the game and the story that I sort of carve out isn't necessarily going to be the same as other people's.
Wow. All right. So everyone will have a different choice how they adventure through it, but obviously lots of different missions and adventures. You know, as you guys work on sort of playing and writing this game, tell us about some of the different mission types that you're most excited about. Because again, Far Cry is about sort of doing anything, but you have to balance that against sort of the density of the experience and having really sort of tightly, you know, scripted moments or missions.
Sure.
So what are some of the types of, you know, experiences that we're going to have that you think are really, you know, dialed in at this point?
Well, I think that it's just the variety that we're giving people this time around. For instance, like we're showing off the plane combat right here. This is Nick Rye, who I said earlier owns a plane. You're going to meet him. He's going to say, I need some help, right? Take my plane, fly around, blow up some stuff, just cause as much mayhem as possible. I think that there's some other characters in other regions that we aren't quite talking about yet, but I think that it's going to be the most varied and innovative Far Cry experience yet.
And the world is sort of completely open from the beginning for everyone?
Yeah. The minute that you're sort of left behind and you're on your own, it's really up to you to figure out where you're going to go, who you're going to talk to, and how you're going to defeat the cult.
All right, well, it's going to be quite the adventure, I think, and yeah, I'm really, you know, even the character vignettes that I'm sure many of you guys saw online really, you know, grabbed me, and we used them in some of the trailers promoting the show because there were such great lines for some of these characters, and I'm really interested to learn kind of more about those characters. So
yeah, it was a goal of ours really to not just focus on the bad guys this time around. Far Cry's always been known for its villains, and we certainly have that, not just one villain, but 4 very distinct villains this time around. The Project at Eden's Gate and the family, but making sure that the characters that you met in the world that were going to be on your side felt real, felt believable, and that you could empathize with them and want to spend more time with them than I think you might have with other characters in passing.
All right, well, it's definitely a game that will be talked about this year, Far Cry 5, and we'll get to check it out early next year, right?
Yes, February 27th, 2018.
All right, so it'll be a long holiday season for the team up in Montreal, but worth it for Far Cry 5. All right.